France sides with Italy. To the surprise of virtually nobody, the French have finally cut their ties with the German Reich. After 2 decades of abuse and decay, France has finally cut their ties with the Pact in favour of an alliance with the neighbouring Italians. A few quiet voiced concern. Some saw Germany as their best bet to returning to Paris. Whether or not France's new arrangements bear fruit for them will remain to be seen. A move most were expecting. Oh, loyalty is actually rising. So is High Command. Huh. Okay. So it's actually going to max out eventually. Don't need to invest anymore in it. And yes, they did automatically stop training. Brilliant. No longer get the effects of military austerity. So, military austerity was reducing all of those things. It was reducing output. I think I'm going to do austerity one more time. And then after this, I probably won't anymore. And there's the civilian. We are going to continue boosting the civilian. Death of Emperor Aisin Gyoro Puyi. The Emperor of Manchuria, Aisin Gyoro Puyi, has passed away in an undisclosed medical condition. Despite the aforementioned medical condition being fatal, Puyi is not known to have been in a hospital before his death, instead passing away in his quarters. The death of Puyi has brought sorrow across the Daitoa Koya Ken, though the people of Manchuria have been, from all reports, ambivalent to the apathetic concerning the news. Puyi's funeral was attended by political and social leaders from all across Asia, most notably the Emperor of Japan, Hirohito, despite health concerns over the long flights to and from Manchuria. His body was buried at the northern Qing tombs in a section called the Tomb of the Peaceful. Puyi's successor, Puyi, has already shown himself to be more proactive, enthusiastic than his predecessor, though that's not a high bar. A name lost to the history books. And Congo is starting to consolidate. Do we want to go all the way down to the HMS Jellicoe? I'm just wondering if we're limited in how much time we have on this focus tree. Because I'd really like to finish a democratic England. I think it's important that we do. Let's do a need for battleships, and then we're going to switch back to the political stuff. Because we need to get through all of this too. Battleships are still the undisputed queens of the endless waters, and the true patriots among us know this well. The Royal Navy boasted the largest concentration of dreadnoughts in the entire world. It was only due to us being left alone in our fight against both the Germans and the Japanese that we lost the seas. With our new refound freedom, we shall restore our former glory. Funds will be allocated to develop more modern battleships, equipped with state-of-the-art anti-aircraft batteries in order to fend off carrier-heavy fleets. There are some within the Naval Command who complain that with the money spent in a single battleship we can commission an entire task force of a carrier and several screens, which they claim is more powerful and effective. Their claims are flawed, of course, and the Royal Navy shall be back from its ashes like the Egyptian phoenix. New focus tree is extended to the current one, doesn't replace. Okay, thanks. No, that's fine. I mean, I was asking. Right. Next construction. Wales has oil? Oh, and aluminium. Southern Wales it is. Although this doesn't actually improve the aluminium production. When the hell do we get the North Sea oil? That's what I'm after. Although I'm guessing that Scotland would actually get the lion's share. Orenburg and their allies defeated the Dervango Brigade. Good. That was a long-ass war, actually, thinking about it. How's our radar set up? Our radar setup is terrible. We may want to consider that. Let's do Northern Wales as well. Need to do something for them. One more reason to unite Scotland. Yeah, but we owe our own independence to Scotland, so I don't know how I feel about trying to reincorporate them. Still 67. Do we have any other construction ones to do? No. Okay. And we do want to have at least a focus, I think, on shipping. Because we were going to want to upgrade our destroyers. Though maybe not necessarily the hull, but we're definitely going to want to make them anti-submarine, because there are going to be a lot of submarines around. And we're going to need to do a lot of research for battleships at some point too. Resume battleship development. Completing this technology will allow us to defy the global trend of air power-centered naval doctrine and continue the development of battleships. I mean, we're doing that. Battleship is the king of the sea. Carriers are useful, but nothing compares to the raw power of a battleship's broadside. Instead of throwing the pride of our fleet out, we shall retrofit and modernize them into the true kings of the ocean. Oh, do I want to finish these? I don't know. I really want to get this before the next election if possible. But we do have a lot to get through. How are we doing with this? No, it's not... Well, actually, we could be. Yeah, let's start on this. After drawing up the plans for the restoration of the House of Lords and determining exactly which lords will be removed and which won't, the time has come to realise these plans. The Lords Act will effectively remove one half of all the life peers in the House of Lords, those appointed by the collaborationist government after 1945. While it will raise a good deal of controversy, these individuals are still largely loyal to the old royal party and they must be expelled from Parliament. In order to prevent future problems arising from the unchecked appointment of life peers, the power to appoint life peers will no longer be granted to the Prime Minister. Instead, the Prime Minister will select candidates for life peers once a year, who will then have to be approved by a special committee. This committee will be made up of random MPs from both the majority and the opposition, and will vote on each candidate privately. Should the candidate be approved, they will become a lord. Building the Jellicoe takes a year. Yeah, I assumed that as well. But because I don't know when the next election is, I really want to finish those. Großgermanische Reich der Deutschen Nation declared war on the Königreich Caucasian. Isn't this Dönitz? Oh, no, it wasn't. That bit was Dönitz. This was Josias I. Another wannabe Ruhr kid. Though not nearly as cool. Heen! And good sir, thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. The Ural League declared war on the NKVD Magnitogorsk. Yeah, finally they're starting to do this. I think it's because the war against the Dervango Brigade took so long. Ural League won just instantaneously. I have a feeling the NKVD Magnitogorsk didn't have an army. If I were you, I'd increase military efficiency. It caps at only 72. Yeah, I know. But I'm trying to save political power because I'm going to need that to get this vote through. And they've won already. Okay, Germany's scary. Germany kind of scary. So we have some more free civilian factories. And then after those, I think it's going to be time for military factories. East Anglia could actually be dockyards. That should keep us busy for a while. The Greater Caucasian Revolt. For decades, the native peoples under the Caucasus have languished under Nazi rule. They have toiled in the mines, pumped the oil, and laboured in factories at the demand of their German overlords, while they were given scraps and work to the bone. No more, it seems. With the death of King Josias, his heir, King Wittelkind, has failed to swiftly reassert his authority across the country. Numerous native rebel groups have taken the opportunity to rise up, hoping to secure independence from their tyrants. It is beyond question that the rebels are proud patriots who despise foreign imperialism. Whether they will succeed or join history's long line of failed Caucasian rebellions, however, is another question entirely. So that coup is happening while the German army is still in town. Ah. I hadn't actually finished this. And I think I've already built up Yorkshire and Newcastle, so we wasted some infrastructure. Never mind. England has almost recovered from the Civil War. Most cities are no longer bombed out husks of buildings, roads and public utilities are mostly working order, and the lives of most Englishmen are returning to normal. However, there is still the scars from the war, scars that shall not heal quite so easily. Like the unrepaired bullet holes on many buildings across the country, the nation's manpower is depleted and it is unprepared and unwilling to fight any conflicts for the foreseeable future. This generation of England has finally tasted blood, and like their forefathers, they found it bitter. And shoot, I forgot to do this. We've wasted 3 days. That should be okay. So we have currently got 206 of the 248 minimum votes that we require. Most of the moderates are already voting for us, so that would be a swing of 28. The Liberals would be a swing of 16. The Conservatives would be a swing of 6. So we have very little to gain from the Conservatives. The SLP have only 15 of the 159. So even though this is a cross-party benefit, because it's MPs from all parties, the SLP doesn't support this. So by far and away the biggest swing we can get is by working with the SLP. This does increase their popularity, but I think this does make the most sense. I'm shocked the SLP doesn't want this. Yeah, I'm shocked as well. Now they do. Okay, there we go. Done. Independence for the UAE. As the winds of change blow over the Italian Empire, they bring with them a curious mixture of reaction and revolution. In some places, the retreat of the new Rome has brought about the return of the old order. In others, it's brought forth new sorts of men and newfangled ideas, for good or ill. Nowhere is this strange contradiction more visible than in the Persian Gulf, where the Italian Governorate of the Gulf has granted independence to the United Arab Emirates. As the Middle East finds itself gripped by a new wave of instability, Italy has opted to grant independence to their vital territories in the Persian Gulf. Granting autonomy to the local emirates, reunited into a federation led by the ruler of Abu Dhabi, Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, a long-time ally of Italy. Zayed is a known reformist and a centralizer, promising to continue developing the economy and the industry of the young nation, and allowing for some democratic reforms while retaining close ties to Italy and her sphere. May his rule be transformative and stabilizing. Now, are all of my factories in use? Yeah, they are. And we are still in surplus. They'd be Adygea, which I guess was the uprising. Yeah, I think so. LSOP presumably wants to abolish the laws rather than reform it. Yeah, possibly. Okay, so that was the first of the technical of the production. So we'll go for the next one. Oh, these reduce growth. Well, that's okay, because like I said, we're just going to have it constantly ticking over in the background. This side also comes with the free repair. It's fine. And in fact, the loyalty is now done. So we can just promote the competent officers. And now this is all green. Huzzah! Defeated Georgia. Sweet Georgia. They now have more than 50%. Our own popularity is definitely shrinking. Probably because we sided with the SLP there. Although it is going to radically grow again if we get Democratic England done. When is the sodding election? I'm going to be like 4 focuses short of the election. I just know it, and it's because I went into the military tree. And maybe because I completed the Welsh tree as well. The Man in the Iron Fortress. Science fiction author Philip K. Dick has released his latest novel, named The Man in the Iron Fortress, a work of speculative alternative history. The novel takes place in a dystopian world where communism reigns supreme. The point of divergence in the story's history is the socialist politician Eugene Debs remained with the Democrats, becoming president in 1920. As a result, he supported the nascent Soviet Union and the May 4th movement in China. Debs's beliefs died with him in 1926, and his successor, Robert La Follette, proved to be far more isolationist, a trend that dominated American politics for the next 20 years. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union became dominated by the authoritative Felix Dzerzhinsky, while the communists under Mao Zedong were able to unite China and counter-invade the Japanese. When the Nazis rose to power, they were able to crush the unsupported Allied nations of Europe, but were unprepared for a surprise Soviet invasion and were swiftly defeated. In 1947, a joint Sino-Soviet army invaded America, leading to them dividing the world north and south. The novel is set within occupied America and follows a wide cast of characters, from a Cheka spy to a Chinese official obsessed with American cowboy culture. At the centre of its plot is a book called The Beast Among the Reeds, which tells of a world where both Nazism and communism were defeated. The political backdrop is one of rapidly decaying Sino-Soviet relations. Dzerzhinsky is succeeded after his death by even more totalitarian Lavrinsky Beria, and the threat of total war looms on the horizon. Despite the novel's criticism for seemingly unrealistic developments, the Soviets allegedly drained the Baltic Sea for farmland and built a giant bridge stretching across the Bering Strait between Russia and Alaska. Dick has defended the action as being plausible within the best available information he could acquire at the time. That still hasn't stopped the book from becoming a bestseller in the United States and Canada, and it's already been nominated for an Hugo Award. What? Is regular history too boring for readers now? An England rebuilt. So now I think we're going to work on the old alliance. Or maybe ties with the... No, let's do OFN stuff and then we'll do the USA. Yeah, I think that's probably the best idea. The United States and England have always held a special relationship. We have done our best to maintain peace and democracy in the old and the new worlds for the past centuries, and despite our defeat against the Reich nearly 20 years ago, there remains a bond between the two countries. Through 2 world wars, the 2 greatest English-speaking nations of the world have tried and tested like no other grand alliance. It is only natural that now, in our hour of need, we should look to the United States once more as a partner and a friend. Surely we can restore the good old nature and the good old humour of an alliance not yet forgotten. I have a feeling that England at the moment is going to be super smoky, considering the amount of factories just belching smoke. You can see that Dublin's got a little bit, but they seem to be the only one. I think that icon must appear when you've fully developed a province or something? Not sure. Mass production methods. Maybe the next election comes when you complete Democratic England. Yeah, maybe. I did wonder that. Right, so we're going to do mass production methods. And how is our surplus looking? We're getting positive guns. We're getting positive scout helicopters? Yeah. Because I haven't actually worked out where they are used. In fact, we have quite a lot of army experience now to use on that type of thing. So if we take a look at the SAS, for example. Yeah, here we go. We can go... Where are they? Could have sworn that you could have helicopter recon. What are you waiting for? Transport helicopters. Oh, right. Yeah, I can build those ages ago. Those are probably in here. There's the transport heli. And we'll need to reduce our production of something to accommodate that. So let's get less CAS, because we're also getting the attack helicopters. Okay, cool. Election is timed. Okay. Are scout helicopters used like scout aircraft? I mean, scout aircraft also exists. Maybe I haven't researched it. That could be. Support. Here we go. Scout helicopter. Enable scout helicopters. I haven't actually researched them. It's a 1960 technology, so I definitely should. Maybe once we've done the battleship development. Alright, so ties with Canada. They said they will return, or ties with the Pacific colonies. I think we'll go with Canada. Through all the hardships of the past 20 years, the defeats, the invasion, the end of the war, Canada has stood by the free England, in whatever form it has taken. When Tobruk and the Suez Canal were lost, she remained loyal. When Britain itself was invaded, she remained loyal. Through decades of oppression and hardship, she remained loyal. It is time to recognise the contributions of Canada to our victory, and to give our humble thanks to the most steadfast supporter, in whatever way we can. Yay, Canada. War Master Storm, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. The mysterious disappearance of Albert Speer. World 2100 D. Where is Speer? Well, he's not in the text of that, that's for sure. I still don't think I really need military spending right now. We'll keep it shrunk, so... Oh, we're making $1 billion again. The act passes. History is written. So the House of Lords now gains us even more stability and gains us political power. Plus 15 stability from that. Nice. 99.7. So in 2 months I bet that hits maximum. So at this point I feel like I could probably do another promote competent officers. We're now at 82%. Well, so good at disappearing there wasn't even a description. Yeah. The effects of unification. Now that some time has passed since the unification was finally realised, its effects have started to be felt by the people of Wales. They're stuck with us now. Ah, here we go. Replace the Welsh resistance with Welsh riots. Recruitable population factor goes up, stability goes up, war support goes up, damage to garrisons goes massively down, and Wales is now cored. Russo-Finnish ceasefire signed. The Northern War had bogged down to a stalemate when the calls for ceasefire were agreed to both sides. The army of the Provisional Commissariat of Western Russia successfully overran most of the Onegin Russian auxiliaries, but the difficult terrain and the lack of modern equipment made for a breakthrough in Karelia too difficult for the West Russian power. Sitting behind fortifications, lakes and marshes, the small yet modern Finnish army managed to repeat its previous defensive success of the Winter War. It is expected that the Finns will cut loose their erstwhile allies on Onega. In exchange, the Provisional Commissariat of Western Russia is expected to recognise Finnish claims in Karelia. This defeat is a setback for the ambition of the West Russians, who see themselves as the embryo of a restored Russian nation. Nevertheless, the High Command has likely decided to cut its losses and focus on the eastern ambitions instead. Civilian. Now I don't think I need to do this anymore. Although the political power gain is nice, but I don't think it's as important, seeing as we don't have any active votes. And we've already built so much stuff that we're back into military industry. So, yeah, done. Making almost 2 billion in surplus now. Man, that tax was such a waste. Royal visit. As part of our Thanksgiving, the Queen shall return to Canada, her second home, to pay homage to the support that they have given us. Other members of the royal family shall accompany her throughout the country and celebrate the return of freedom to England and the dawn of a new future few could have dreamed possible just 10 years ago. Samara won, yes. And we have once again got military factories. What are we still short on? We're producing all of those.